I'm rolling. You rolling?
Jeez.
Oh my goodness. We have with us today, Keith,
Tell me, Ben.
self-proclaimed, professed #1 fan and friend who was there from the very beginning of the podcast, Sally O'Grady.
Hi, so I like the coffee, but I'm just putting it away.
Sally Guardado may be our #1 fan. I'll let her attest to that or not, although it is self-professed. She told me that. But I like to think of Sally as documentary filmmaker extraordinaire, commercial production company owner, strong-minded, not afraid to tell you her opinion, good friend who I sometimes walk with, and
rub that in.
and an alumnus of the AFS Doc Intensive Laboratory, which is where we met probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? How was that intro? Did we do a good job?
That was a great intro. I really liked it.
All right, that's a good episode, folks. We'll catch you next time.
What did we miss in that intro? Because Sally, I understand that you and Keith are longtime friends. Oh man, I feel like I'm walking through poison oak right here.
Oh,
ivy.
no, I think it's fine.
I agree.
Famous last words.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I walk here sometimes twice a day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, no worries.
Well, I was
Just
saying.
don't rub your face in it.
Oh boy.
On your left.
You're listening to Doc Walks with Ben and Keith. Where the S are we?
So this is technically Walnut Creek, I believe. Pretty sure that's what this is. It's called Copperfield Nature Trail.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a sort of crazy, massive chaos until some of the neighbors spent a lot of time creating a path and a trail, and sometimes we do little cleanups here.
This is northeast Austin.
Correct, yeah.
And this is a cool trail that I've never been on.
Yeah.
Same. I have never been over to this area, and so this is awesome. We're getting a peek into Sally's life here.
Breaking new ground.
This is fantastic. But I didn't get the story of you obviously have an Australian accent. I don't know when you came over. I don't know any of your backstory. So could you please tell me a little bit about
This is a fake accent. This is how I make friends. This is how I network.
You're actually from Denton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I don't want to be too long-winded. I could tell you so many details about my life that you may not want to know.
Well, I mean, this sounds pretty juicy. I think I'm already very interested.
Do you like that as a little tease?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, be careful, friends.
Yeah, this is, we are hiking here on
Yeah.
Doc Walks.
Okay, so I grew up in Sydney. I had a life there. I was interested in film from an early age, but then sort of pivoted a bit to getting more interested in social work.
Yeah, I read that you worked with, it was like sex workers. And people who had drug problems.
Exactly. So that was a great interest of mine, but that's a very hard field. I just realized truly I was interested in film, and I moved to New York in 2003.
From Sydney.
From Sydney, yeah.
Interesting.
Because I had a good friend who'd moved there, and she said, you should move here. It's really easy, much easier than you would imagine.
In New York.
I mean, in the sense of just for something so dry as in Australia, there are really strict labour laws. You can't just rock up to Australia and get a job. You know, you have to have paperwork. Whereas in New York, I just was able to work as a waitress, and I interned at a documentary production company, and just kind of realised that I liked documentaries. I initially went to New York wanting to do cinematography.
Oh, okay. For features and narratives, and it wasn't necessarily documentary.
Right.
Okay.
And I find that very hierarchical and very difficult. And I didn't like that world. So then I just I had a little bit of experience working as an archival researcher, and then I just worked in docs. I met my husband in New York, and we lived there for several years, and then it sort of became a bit too much freelance life. And I got pregnant, and then we moved to Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
To be near his family. Yeah.
Oh, great.
And then Richmond, Virginia was sort of too small.
Kind of like a Goldilocks metaphor baked into the story.
Right. So then eventually we just ended up in Austin.
Which was just right.
Truly just right.
Aww.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into more about who Sally is and Sally's work, and we're going to talk about Sally's new film. But before that, we should take note of what time of year it is. It is the holiday season. It is the end of the year. And it is about 35 episodes of Doc Walks in the books.
That's right.
And
This is our year-end episode, we're calling this.
This is the Doc Walks year in review. And originally it was going to be just me and Ben. And just kind of reflecting on the year. But Ben doesn't like it as much when it's just me and Ben.
That's true. Yes, I feel very vulnerable.
Do you want to talk more about that for a minute?
Well, actually, you are the perfect person to ask about this because as our self-proclaimed #1 fan, I feel like when we do the episodes just the two of us, that it feels a little self-congratulatory maybe, and that it's not as interesting to people as when we bring on other filmmakers and learn about them and talk about their work. There's some version of like, I don't know how valuable that is to others. So that's my continual concern about doing those episodes.
Well, one thing I just want to clarify, I do think I'm your #1 fan because I've listened to every episode except one, but it's also a bit of a turn of phrase, just so you know, #1 fan.
True.
And I am a great consumer of things and culture, and I am a bit of an obsessive, but yes, this is...
You're saying this isn't your whole life, and that she's not stalking you, Ben, and people out there shouldn't get the wrong idea about Sally.
Right, and also you were there from the beginning because we
That's
shared
true.
a condo at Sundance,
That's
and
right.
literally that was like our second episode
Yes.
to ever
Second.
do. So
Yeah.
you literally saw it like
I
as
saw
it was
and
becoming.
I was like, these jokers are not going to get
Yeah,
this
this is
done. No,
never
I'm
going
kidding.
anywhere.
I know that you're very, very, very exceedingly competent people. So yes, to answer your question, I love the episodes where it's just the two of you.
Oh.
Sorry to break your little heart. And part of the reason is because part of the reason I love Doc Walks is because it's very refreshing and it fills a hole in the podcast space where it's authentic, relatable content about documentary filmmaking, but there's also often a surprising, useful fact, which I listen to other podcasts about documentaries and they're not nearly as good. And I think the episodes where it's just the two of you, you really get those facts. Like one of my favorites is Gardener, Not a Carpenter, which is one of the early episodes. And that was just the two of you, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's lovely. And I'd never heard that phrase. And I think about that quite a lot. So those kind of phrases can't come up when you're bringing a new person into the fold. You're talking to them. You've got to get their biography, which, sometimes we could just look that up on Wikipedia, so I'm just, I find the conversation between the two of you very unique. And I love it.
I just don't want it to feel self-congratulatory.
Well,
and
I
if
will
it's
say,
like us filming ourselves and talking about how wise we are. That feels.
I think but I think that's a great note, and I think we are self-congratulatory too much because we only do it for like these kind of like quarterly kind of reviews.
Right.
And so now we're talking about that thing that we already did, and which is what we're kind of doing this episode. So maybe we'll take that note for another episode. But what I love about the episodes of just Ben and I is I never know what Ben's going to say, and I don't think he knows what I'm going to say because he can't, because I don't know what I'm going to say. We don't usually know what we're going to talk about.
True.
And so like it's an actual authentic reaction moment.
Yeah.
And when I'm saying something, it's in reaction to what you're saying. When you're saying something, it's in reaction to what I'm saying. So it's actually a conversation. And that is what my favorite thing, and honestly, from the beginning of the podcast, what we sought to do was replicate the walks that we take.
Right.
Where we have good conversations that sometimes challenge each other and often bolster each other. I think we both leave feeling emboldened and strengthened and optimistic typically.
Yeah.
Or at least heard and commiserated in our misery.
Yeah.
And some of the episodes where we interview other filmmakers, which I think they're interesting, but we fall back into the mode of interviewers, which we do professionally, and it's less of a conversation. And so my goal would be to find, and has been, and I think will continue to be, to find the way to make the episodes with guests more of a conversation, and to make the episodes with us not trigger those feelings in you. Like to make them more comfortable for you so that they don't feel like you're doing something you don't want to do or that you're doubting.
Yeah.
Because
And maybe the thing is preparation, because I'm a preparer. I like to have the presentation of what I'm going to say and then I like to then sort of go perform it in a way. And so when we just sort of free jazz about whatever the topic might be, I can do it. I just don't know how valuable it is. And so I don't want to get in a mode of like, well, we can just, fart this out and people will listen to it. Like I want to, and I'm not saying that's what you're suggesting. I just more like, that's my mindset about like, I want to prepare and know what we're talking about and have something to offer if we're asking people to give us their time.
Well, I think we can do both.
I think you can. I feel like I might. Do you want to walk down here a little
Yes,
bit?
let's do it.
Let's do it.
I don't think the heron's here. I haven't seen the heron.
So Sally promised a heron.
Oh.
It was on the menu of likely
Be careful.
elements.
I've just got kind of sideways.
But then she started backtracking in preparation of this walk.
I think that is a fantastic name for the episode. Sally promised a heron. Wow,
Yeah,
this is really pretty.
There's another little pond where you can see the back of my house. You want to see that one?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
maybe keep walking. Well, I don't want to boss you guys around.
Stop bossing us around.
Okay.
Okay, so the point of this episode is a year in review.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've done as good a job as we can so far of bringing a mix of filmmakers with brand new films out on the circuit or in current release, and filmmakers who have walked a path, sometimes in the recent past, sometimes in the distant past.
Sometimes a literal path as we're walking right now.
Almost every time.
Pretty light.
Oh, that is so pretty. Yeah, the sun coming through the trees. Look at that.
There's some weather phenomenon happening today. Sorry to digress. It's solar flare something.
Solar flare something.
Yeah.
Really?
How adventurous are you feeling?
I am always up for an adventure.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
So like I said, Ben likes to prep, or as he said, he likes to prep, and he did prep for this conversation, sharing a game that his family plays that I don't know anything about, and I don't think Sally knows anything about. But before we do that, can we please just talk about this fucking amazing tree?
Yes, this is the tree. Okay. I know not much about this tree, but it's beloved. We love this tree.
This is really fantastic. Look at this.
It's really beautiful. And if you're feeling really adventurous, which we don't have to be, if we cut through this trail, this kind of little creek diagonally, that's my house. So
Ben doesn't want to do that.
not the orange one. I don't know what anyway, this is, so sometimes I can walk through the back, climb over the fence, and
She's a real Reed Harkness over here.
You really are. You're about to kick your shoes off and get in that creek, aren't you?
oh, I really loved that episode.
Reed's the best.
He was, oh my goodness.
Really
That's one of my
interesting dude.
favorites.
Okay, but I don't want to. I do look. Some people are listening to the show and they don't know anything about this fucking tree.
Yeah.
And we just said it's great and it's beloved, and I'm sure it is. But let's describe this tree. Let's do a round robin
Okay.
of words that describe this tree, and I will start out by saying, it is spray painted blue, which I don't love, but at this moment I am glad.
Sally, you want to go next?
Oh, it's gnarled.
Gnarled. It is and I will finish up by saying it looks like it has been here for an exceedingly long time. And
Yeah.
it has these sort of beautiful tentacles that go in all directions that have different degrees of green branches coming off of them. And this tree looks sort of magical for that reason.
Well, it is a not very healthy, very old live oak. And the reason why you can tell it is not very healthy is because most of these gnarled branches do not have live green leaves on them. But a couple of them do up top, which lets us know that it is a live oak, which is the tree of Austin. And almost every time we stop and admire a tree, it's a live oak.
It's a live oak. Yeah.
Because the arms just reach out and grab you. And they look like they have a story to tell.
They really do. Yeah, and as storytellers, we recognize a good story when we see one.
Yeah, and sometimes a good game. And Ben's got a game that he wants to play for our year in review. What is that game, Ben?
That's true. So at our house, at dinner time, I have a 6-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. And what we like to do is play this game called High-Low-Buffalo-Mitzvah. And we all go around the table and we say the best part of the day, which is the high, the worst part, which is the low, or the not so great part.
Yeah.
The buffalo is something funny or
Okay.
something interesting
Cute,
that
yep,
happens.
yep.
And then the mitzvah is something nice that we have done for another person, the earth, or an animal.
No.
So
Lovely.
when we were thinking about what could we do on our year-end review, I suggested we could do High-Low-Buffalo-Mitzvah for the year, the first year of dock walks.
How do we do it? Do we all do a high, then we all do a low, then we all do a buffalo?
Normally what happens at our house, and this is not how we have to do it, is that it goes by person. So one person would do all four, and then we go to the next person, and the next person, and next person. But I think for maybe our purposes, it makes the most sense if we do high, and then everybody does their high, and everybody does a low.
Yeah, okay.
So we can mix it up that way.
Okay.
Let's hit the road while we do it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, so Sally, since you are a guest of honor, would you like to lead us off?
Okay, my first high is Diane Quon. It was such a good interview. It was good because it was one of your early episodes. One of the things I liked about it most was it was sort of like the vessel and the subject were all intertwined. So it was like we had this moment where Keith, I think, conducted the interview, and she was talking about something really devastating, her son dying. And it was just this really beautiful, sensitively conducted interview in a crowded space, a difficult thing to talk about. And I just thought Keith did it so deftly. And then the result was that it was a really great sort of segment with her. So not only just her story's interesting, right? Which do you want me to?
No, that was great.
So I thought that was really, really, and I just think it's a really nice example of what Dock Walks is. And then I think the Megan Gilbride episode was so good, and if anyone has not listened to it, you should, because she covers a lot of really interesting things. One is, which is kind of interesting for a producer, she talks about how, well, she and Keith talk about how an artist or a filmmaker is always making the same film over and over again, and I do think that's the case of a true artist. Like a true artist has a through line, and her through line is community, which is beautiful. And but then she was very funny. Like she said 5 times, just make fucking cinema, which was a.
You want to make fucking cinema?
Yeah, she said it about 5 or 6 times, which was just very entertaining to me and also accurate. And then there was many more good moments in that. But and she talked about the Princess Bride. She talked about all that jazz. Like there was just kind of wild, but every point she made was useful and interesting and helpful.
Megan's the best.
I love that.
I don't. Maybe not every point was helpful. That's a bit superlative.
Can I tell you a funny insider story about that?
Yeah.
So that was clearly going to be the name of the episode, Make Fucking Cinema.
Oh, yeah.
And I want you to know that I am the one who said, no.
Oh.
We are
Family show?
We're a family show. We are.
You got some pretty light up here.
I know, isn't this beautiful?
Oh, you do.
Yeah, I got the POV shot. We are reaching out to sponsors.
Oh, I
we
see.
are asking celebrity guests to come aboard.
I believe I accused Ben of clutching his pearls during our strong disagreement on that.
Strong disagreement. And Keith and I have gotten into a couple of, I wouldn't call them fights or not even really spats, but we've gotten into.
They're definitely not fights. I just want to be clear.
Some strong disagreements.
Yeah, well, that's part of collaborating.
And that was one of them. And,
But I also learned something in that I never got a chance to share this with you, Ben. Because not only did I want to name it, Do You Want to Make Fucking Cinema? Ben was open to the concept of the name. He wanted to change it. Do you want to make effing cinema with stars? And that was my biggest frustration, is the censorship of it. But this is what I learned. We would have been fucked if we did that.
Oh.
Because
Wait, which way?
either way,
Okay.
your concern is right. That at least an Apple podcast, Megan looked it up. I told Megan about the conversation, and she's like, "Oh, I've had this conversation before."
Yeah.
And she looked it up. Apple Podcasts will not platform things with
curse words.
curse words in
Yeah.
it, but they also won't platform things with censored curse words in it.
That's funny.
And you know what?
And so you were right.
My argument about it was that, listen, I made Winnebago Man, which is full of obscenities, and we dealt with this constantly. And so there was always the conversation around not safe for work versus safe for work. We had to make different versions. It was a total pain. And so my point was, if we want to reach an audience with this show, which we're trying to do, we should just avoid the issue entirely and name it something else. But that was clearly the best name.
I didn't like the idea when I found out that Apple wouldn't make it available to people.
Yeah.
And now I'm just pissed at Apple and no longer pissed at Ben.
Hey, so it's a win.
It's a systemic issue. I will just warn you that these are some gnarly little roots, and I've tripped twice recently on my little jogs. So
Oh,
I
you
don't.
jog back here. Wait a
Just doing a little trail run.
Yeah, nice little humble brag there. I like that.
I know.
When
I
I'm back
wanted
here doing my
everyone to know.
1,000 sit-ups.
It's my turn to do a high.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
one of
I
my
did
highs
trip.
is the Matt Wolf episode.
Ah, yeah.
And it's high. It's a high for two reasons. One, it's a high because it helped me overcome a fear. And that fear was once Ben got a taste of doing, so just for those who haven't checked out, Matt Wolf is the director of Pee-wee Plays Himself, among many other films. And Ben had a chance to go to New York for work, and he snuck in an interview with Matt Wolf while he was there. It was the first episode without me,
Yes.
and it was the first episode where one of us traveled without the other, and
I think it was our first video episode too, wasn't it?
and it was also, that's right. It was, so for three reasons it's a high. One, I was concerned that when Ben got a taste of doing the podcast without me, he'd never come back to me.
Oh, buddy.
So it's a high because it overcame. Two is a high because Ben's theory about doing this podcast with video cameras, which I am still not entirely sold on, proved itself out. And Ben got to pat himself on the back, and I got to cede some ground in this argument, but not all the ground. And finally, three, because it's a really great episode, because Matt Wolf, you know, that is a guy who has strong feelings, who does the work for his own reasons, who makes great work,
Yes.
and who connected with Ben. You know, two guys that don't know each other really. I mean, I had met, I think, on the festival circuit years ago, but weren't exactly, you know, buddies.
Right.
And connected at the true core of what this show is meant to be, and frequently is, but in that moment really was, which is two working filmmakers finding common ground to recognize, you know, a colleagueship. And it's what I love about the show, and I got to experience it purely as a watcher and a listener. And on top of that, I didn't have to edit it because I wasn't there for it. And so,
Can I just tell you that I am shocked that that is your high. I love that so much, and you have just thoroughly surprised me
what I'm
because
here for.
because I know that that was
Oh, look
difficult
at-
for you, and so I'm really, I'm sort of speechless, honestly, that's your high. So that's really interesting, and I love that, and I would never want to do the show without you. Part of the whole thing is that we walk and we have this relationship, and that to me is what I think is interesting and I value and I wanted to do more of, which is why I wanted to start the podcast.
So self-congratulatory. Thank you, Ben. No, it was great. It's a really great episode. And, you know, as the year went on and, you know, we're rolling into award season, you know, Matt had a great year at the Emmys. Pee-wee Plays Himself, made an impact. And is, you know, really one of those kind of breakthrough films. I mean, not a surprise. It's Pee Wee Herman. It's a big celebrity doc.
Yeah.
It's got some meat on the bone and some real drama and tension.
Absolutely.
And then Matt, of course, is, you know, just a great filmmaker and great
Yeah,
storyteller.
Matt really drew him out, and then he passed away during the making of it.
Not
and they-
Matt, the Pee Wee.
Sorry, yes, Paul Rubens. And they had a like really conflictual, sort of tormented relationship as two artists trying to work together. And yeah, the whole thing was really magical.
Real Doc Walks kind of vibe. Conflictual.
Man,
Look at this good boy right here.
How's it going?
And also a beautiful dog.
okay, well, let's see.
Yeah, it's
So
your turn.
my high for this year is, frankly, I'm feeling a little guilty about it because it's kind of a selfish one in a way. And you guys both just did such beautiful, unselfish choices.
That's when you prepare. Now you're locked in.
No, now I'm like,
I just
oh,
came
boy.
up with that Matt Wolf thing on the fly. I had no thought to what my high was until my mouth opened.
Okay, see, I'm learning. This is a growth moment. My high was getting the chance to celebrate Maureen Gosling because I often credit Les Blank as being one of the main reasons that I love documentary filmmaking and that I became a documentarian. And she is such a huge part of making those films. And, you know, Les gets the credit, and we talk about that in the episode, but frankly, she was there, she produced, she recorded the sound, she edited the movies. I mean, without her, those films would not be the same. And I've always thought of those as Les Blanc films, and the longer I make work, the more I realize it's a team sport, and getting to celebrate her as such an important part of that team really meant a lot to me. And then there's a moment in it where she gives me this look, and I think she was a little suspicious of me for a while because I was fanboying out, but she gives me this look about halfway through when I compliment her, and you can really, I just saw it land. I saw sort of like how much the work meant to her register on her face, and it made me feel great to give her that spotlight.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was my high.
Another lovely episode.
Let's talk about the lows.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Sally, that means you are up. So what would your low moment
Oh God.
in Doc Walks
Okay.
be?
I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
Do you want to pause? This is
Yeah,
not
let's
the
just do
best.
that.
Or we could just
Oh,
pause here.
this is really pretty right here. Look at this. How did Ben die? Well,
Nobody knows. He went on a walk with friends, but they said they didn't see what happened to him, and his body was never discovered.
Because we were talking about the lows of dock walks. We got very
my low of
heated.
Doc Walk is when Ben fell off that cliff.
And we just ran because we didn't know what to do.
So, do you know what the Bechdel test is?
Oh, I sure do.
Oh, remind me. I don't think I do know.
Well, the Bechdel test was created by a woman called, I think, Alison Bechdel. She was a comic book artist, and she just created this metric about the representation of women in film and television. And it goes on a scale, but essentially, if a woman is on a TV show to sort of support the man romantically, or to kind of develop the man's character, then it's a low score. And the only way to get a high score is if the woman is in the production and she's the central character doing all the fun stuff, being a protagonist. And I think you guys really failed. I'm sorry to be so harsh.
No, we need it. We're here for
You've
it.
done 32 or 33 episodes.
Yep.
And you have 8 women
Ooh.
You
who are by themselves.
Correct.
I know it feels like more. I know it feels like more to you guys, but it's only 8. I'm not counting Amanda McBain. Sorry, getting a bit harsh. And that incredible woman, Colleen Cassingham,
Right.
because they were there supporting a man. And also you had 3 women of color only, and 1 black man.
Yeah.
So you just need to, I know it's hard, I know that you've been trying, and I know that maybe it's hard to schedule,
Yeah.
but you just need to try harder. And it's not about parity. You know, we're not going for parity, we're going for corrective bias. There are
Right.
less women in filmmaking. And any way we're impacting the culture, we need to help. And, you know, also just help people who are less privileged, right?
Yeah.
People who don't see themselves represented in
Yeah.
the culture.
I hear that, and that's a fair criticism. And I will just say, and I don't mean this offensively, but I do want you to hear, and I want all our listeners to hear, we try so hard to schedule a diverse roster. And there is an interesting gender divide, and I will be so bold as to call it that, because it is very difficult to book women on the show than it is to book a man. And I have noticed, and I know you're giving me that look, and I probably deserve it. Men, when they are asked to jump at the opportunity, women need a lot of coaxing and aren't necessarily comfortable being on camera or talking about themselves. And I think that is a difference. And I have noticed it as somebody who is trying to book weekly guests on a show, that there is that is pretty consistent.
Middle-aged white men jump at the opportunity to talk into a camera. Without a doubt, we've had almost nobody say no.
I know, that's true. And the people who have said no are all women.
The point stands, and Sally's absolutely right. We just have to try harder.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I don't know the exact numbers. I'd be really curious. I think women are much more highly representative in documentary film than they are in scripted film.
That's true.
And
Because it's
women of color
lower paid.
certainly are.
Yeah.
Bringing up who we're booking and how we're booking them is an interesting thing. It's a good note. You're absolutely right. We will continue to try.
Keep trying. Yeah, so
You know.
please, if you're listening, we would love to host you or other filmmakers that you think we should have. And Sally, if you want to give us a list, we would love to reach
yes.
out
Yeah.
to those
I do
people.
have a
So we are
list.
in support of that and actively trying to correct it.
And I will say that our Sundance episode, Man on the Streets, both Sue Kim and Sarah and Muhammad, who made Cutting Through Rocks, which is having a great, end of
real
year
moment,
kind of, are people that we would love to get a chance to do more than 3 minutes on the side of the road with, like we did at Sundance
And we hope
this year.
to correct that, this year.
So it's a great note. I mean, this is what, look, we asked for lows, and I appreciate the honesty. Let's keep walking.
Keep walking.
Okay, so Keith,
Yes.
what is your low?
Oh, geez. After that, what is my low? I'm gonna punt to you, Ben.
Okay.
Since you're prepped.
Well, we haven't consulted with each other about our lows, so I'm going to ask you, how revealing should I
Ooh,
let
juicy.
the audience or let this answer be? Because we have had some off-camera moments. Should we talk about those?
You should talk about absolutely anything you are interested in sharing and talking about. I have nothing to hide. And all I would say is, as long as it won't hurt somebody's feelings who isn't here to jump in.
100%. Yep. So Keith and I have been longtime friends, but are new collaborators. And there was one moment in particular during an episode that will not be named, and I won't talk about who we were interviewing, but where I took something that Keith said very personally, and I got very thrown, and I sort of shut down for a minute. And
During the actual episode?
during an actual episode,
wow.
yeah. And I think it's edited around, and I don't know that even had we not, I don't think it took a lot of editing even really necessarily, but I definitely just sort of energetically, all the wind went out of my sails. And we finished up the episode, and then he and I were able to like talk through it. But it was a low for me in the sense that I wish that I would not have been quite that thrown, and that I could have not let the sort of emotion of the moment overtake me, and instead stay present. Oh yeah, watch
Let's
this.
hang here. Let's hang here.
Yeah, this is a good.
This way we can triangulate.
Yeah.
So that would be my low, but in a sense, because we were able to talk through it right afterwards, and you apologized and we hugged it out and it was all fine, I think in that way it was also a little bit of a high, because it was the first moment of like true conflict between us that felt like, oh, we were able to resolve that pretty quickly. So that would be my low, was just the way that I reacted in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that's a lot of ambiguity, and because we're not going to name the episode or the person or the moment, it's going to be hard for listeners to maybe key in. I'm going to give just a little bit more color to the moment.
Ooh.
Yes, I used a tone with Ben and shut down a line of inquiry that he was pursuing in a sharper way than he appreciated. I apologized for it, one, because I'm a mature person who doesn't want to hurt people's feelings and doesn't want to put people in a situation where they feel that. I've done that plenty of times in my life. I will probably do it plenty of more times. And so I'm usually quick to apologize when I recognize I've hurt somebody. But that moment was born out of a difference between Ben and I, is that the person that we were talking to, I had a closer understanding of. And I recognized that we were treading into territory that wasn't comfortable for that person.
Right.
The person, I thought, had given several hints that they weren't, and I had tried to give several hints to kind of guide us off the conversation.
Right.
Ben did a very strong recenter. I was like, I really want to know this though. And I did a strong shutdown. It was not my intention to shut him down as strongly as I did. It was not my intention to make him feel that way. And so I apologize. I will also say the energetic shutdown that you experienced, we edited it around it, but it didn't require much. And I don't think our guest even recognized your
I think that's true. I don't think the guests even really knew. At least I hope not.
No, I don't think they did. And so I love that that's a low for you, because it's a low with a silver lining, which is every significant relationship I've ever had in my life has had moments where we find ourselves on opposite ends, often because of my tone of voice in a moment, but sometimes because of the thing the other person did. And every significant relationship I've ever had, we've been able to find a way to recognize, even if we can't agree, to recognize the humanity in each other and to end up stronger because we talked about it.
Right.
And didn't let a thing hang in the air.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really important to me.
Oh, I'm glad to know that I'm a significant relationship in your life, Keith.
Well, you're
Look at that.
33 episodes or more and going. I don't even know where we are. I can't keep track. Dayton will tell us. Dayton, what episode is this?
Dean's like, yep,
That's a good low.
that's
And
my low.
thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that we were able to work through it.
Was that your high?
Pretty much. Anytime I kicked him in the knees. Okay, so it's my job to come up with a low right now, and to be honest with you, as a person who is critical of almost all things in life, I'm having a hard time like pinpointing a moment that I say like this is the low point for me of this show. I think Sally nails probably the number one thing that we talk about when it comes to guest booking. And we've already talked about something that matters a lot to me that I would tie to kind of like a low, whereas like the show isn't fully reaching my hopes and expectations yet, which is wanting the episodes to feel more like a conversation and less of a pointed interview of a visiting filmmaker who could or couldn't care that we are also filmmakers.
Right.
I think that's my low. I'm not going to name names, but there have been a couple guests where the fact that Ben made a genre-defining film that had traveled all around the world and has had lots of experiences as a grad student, as a filmmaker. He went on fucking Jay Leno's show that, you know, owns a production company that shoots spots all around the country and has worked with major clients, and he's worked with major musicians. And the work that I've done that gives me any ground to stand on. There have been a few guests that seemingly either didn't know or certainly didn't care and just treated us like we were any interested journalist. And while we certainly are interested, I always make the point that we're not journalists. And my goal for the show is that it's filmmakers meeting to talk shop, just like we would in the Filmmaker Lounge at a small regional film festival with nothing else to keep us busy for the weekend. And so I guess maybe that's my low. And it's an aspiration to continue to work to find those conversations and to invite the audience further into the conversation, which is part of the reason why I mean nothing diminishing Sally by calling her the number one fan. Again, she called herself that. But what I love about getting a chance to talk about the podcast with Sally is there's Sally and there's another filmmaker who we need to book on the show in the future, Madison Hamburg, who are working filmmakers who are out there like fighting the same battles we're fighting all the time, who have listened to a good amount of shows, and we get to continue the conversation kind of off camera. And that's what I love, is like when Sally and I catch up, she brings up little things that happen on the show. We talk about what happens sometimes off the show or behind the scenes. And I'd love to have more of an interaction with others in our audience. We just want to like connect. That to me is what this is about.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think listener engagement means so much, at least to me, like to know that people are listening to the show and like it, and that, you know, ultimately I like the idea of this being like the podcast that I wish existed when I was first starting.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I would love to connect more with people who are listening to it in that way. So let's, in the spirit of trying to go a little faster, let's do the buffalo.
Oh, is that the funny thing?
That's funny or interesting or like just kind of like a quirky tidbit.
Oh yeah, my favorite was, well, first of all, I think Matt P. Wolf is so great. And I didn't realize that he was the first one where you did a video, but I just loved that he was a little bit vain. It just really cracked me up. He was like, oh no, I'm not looking my best this morning. And it just was so fucking funny to me somehow.
Can I tell you a funny moment from that I still cringe at when I hear, which is so small, but we go across this bridge and it's this beautiful, I guess we're on the East River, I don't know. But we cross this bridge and we're looking out and there's these beautiful like boats ripping around, and I go, oh cool, what is that, a tugboat? And he's like, those are ferries. And I'm like, oh no, yeah, of course, duh. Like, of course they are.
That's
like, what?
Not that. I feel like that's.
Well, I know. That's one of those moments that like, I'm just like, I'm such an idiot.
No,
like, of course those are ferries and not like
ferries,
tugboats.
But I appreciate, Ben, you sharing that, because now I have something from my back pocket. Anytime Ben seems like a dipshit to me, I can just say, what is that, a tugboat?
Like, what am I, living in a children's?
I'm going to jump into Buffalo because I just used the word dipshit. And something that surprised me in the pilot episode of the show is kind of the tone that emerged. Like, I hear my voice when I do these things. I have to edit these things, and I hear my voice, and I'm like, God, you're really trying to put on a show. And I'm doing it now. I can't fucking stop myself. when the mic is on.
You have like an on-air voice?
Oh, definitely. Like, I don't think like I'm this animated when I'm on a walk.
That's funny because doing this with you, I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like, of course, we're very aware of the cameras, but like, I don't think that there's a huge difference between you on camera and off camera.
Okay, well,
What do you
good
think?
enough, good enough.
Do you answer?
I think there's a slight difference. I think that you are a little more animated.
Well, anyway, my buffalo was just going to be about the thanks. The buffalo thing was just going to be about, if we're talking about buffaloes, let's talk about birds. And like what came out on that pilot episode is a lot of talk about birds. It gave Ben an easy poke into my ribs. It's no tugboat, but and the thing is, like, I like talking about birds, and I also like what emerged from that. Neither of us did any planning or any prep, but definitely the biggest piece of feedback we heard on the pilot was people really liked it when we described the world we were seeing.
Yes.
And people liked hearing, you know, the interaction with the atmosphere, and that taking the show on the road literally had like an effect that I don't think either of us planned for. It's one of the downsides to me about the video side is you don't feel as compelled or drawn to explain things because I'm literally looking at the picture of it on my camera right now.
Yes.
And I know you can probably see it if you're bothered to look.
That is interesting. I didn't think about that. Should we walk on the street, by the way?
But that's,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
anyway, that's my buffalo is,
yeah.
I love the tone that the pilot struck
Another nice tree.
and that it brought out us talking about the world and talking about birds, and it's made me pay more attention to flowers and street names and trees and people's dogs and each other.
My buffalo is going to be very specific to the moment. Right now, we are living in what feels like this sort of new era where content is now more important than movies. And I've never thought of things as content. I've always thought of them as a TV show or a movie or whatever. And when we came up with this podcast and started it, it was because I enjoyed going on walks with my friend and I wanted to celebrate this thing that I love. And I didn't really think much beyond that, other than like, I love podcasts. I listen to them a lot. I'm curious about this new format and I want to get into it. And as our sort of industry hierarchy is imploding, I am very excited that I have this new format, these new cameras, that basically we're playing in this new sandbox.
Good.
At least I am using it as an opportunity to not be afraid of the future, but to embrace it and figure out how to tell stories. Because honestly, the heart of my answer here is that people need stories. That's how I understand the world, right? Is through narrative. And I, from the early stage I can remember, have been moved by storytelling, and I want to move others with the stories that I tell. That's been my entire goal with all of my pursuits my whole life. And so I want to keep figuring out how to do that.
You want to catch this guy.
And this is giving us a new way.
Sally wants us to pan right.
I just want to say hi to my neighbor.
Okay, go for it. I'll shoot you from distance.
Hi, I'm Bowie. How are you today? Yeah.
I don't know.
Hi.
Oh, look at this
You're
beautiful
doing
rain.
that at Christmas? Oh, so nice. Too cold. Yeah, too cold. This is my friend. This is Keith.
Keith?
And this is
Hello,
Ben.
nice
This is
to meet
our
you.
Bowie.
Yes.
All right. Bye. So he's from Vietnam. His wife is from Vietnam. I made friends with his wife and his growing daughter, and I was he's 86, his wife's 70, and I was
He's 86?
Yeah.
He looks phenomenal for 86.
I was taking her to doctor's appointments because he can't drive anymore. He's vision impaired, but funnily enough, he also works as a crossing guard, so he's like full of interesting quirks. Anyway, I spent a couple of weeks driving them back and forth to appointments. It was totally enjoyable, sweet experience. And finally, I said, "Oh, Bowie, what did you do before you moved to the States? Like, what was your job when you were in Vietnam?" And he said, "Oh, I was a general in the army."
Whoa.
Yeah, so he's really had some life experience. He's very fit and very tough, and yeah, I'm really curious actually to learn more about his story.
Well, that is a mitzvah right there. The fact that we just had a chance to meet on Bowie.
Yeah, you're full of mitzvahs, and you're taking them to their doctor's appointments. Good on you, Sally O'Grady.
Well, whatever.
Here's
Well,
a mitzvah.
okay,
Can I give you a mitzvah? If you were listening here in the 30s, episodes 29 through 35, you will find more Ben alone episodes than we have had historically. And the reason why is because Ben has very graciously allowed me some space to get down to brass tacks here at the end of the year and get my 4 different development projects in front of people, apply for grants, which I hadn't done in a while, submit to programs, schedule generals, get to pitching, and Ben and Dayton Thompson, you know,
I got to give a shout out to
our
Dayton.
silent and invisible spine. And that is a mitzvah, and it has bore fruit, which is, I had a pitch last week on my number 5 project, a project that wasn't even in the hopper a few months ago, but it's something I had developed during COVID 5 years ago and had put aside and then was reminded of, picked it back up, dusted it off, cleaned it up a little, worked very closely with Go Valley intern Julie Rios to create a sizzle, and with Megan Gilbride and Veronica to get it in front of some producers, and we are being offered a development deal
Awesome.
on the number 5 project.
Good for you.
I found out on Friday, and I'm looking for legal paperwork this week. Who knows what it'll be? It could be a terrible deal. It could be something I scoff at. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think it'll be a real opportunity. Do not tell me Sally O'Grady. She delivered on the heron.
Oh my God.
Then you zoom in.
Okay.
Tell us about this heron.
I don't know much about it except that it's a magnificent, long-limbed
Blue heron.
blue heron. Do they have limbs? I don't know. It's just magnificent. It's almost a little cosmic. Whenever I see this creature, I feel very moved in a way that I can't articulate. But I love that the heron came on the heels of your story about this cosmic, wild
It
development
reminds
deal.
me of another mitzvah, which was Rena Effendi's butterflies.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. That's
The new
beautiful.
single. So that's our mitzvah right there. Look at that blue heron.
Beautiful.
And a little turtle here on Sally's Pond.
Turtle.
Sally's Pond. Here on Sally's Pond. All right, so where are we? Are we on our mitzvahs?
Yes.
Okay. Sally,
I'll do mitzvahs.
well, I'm going to do mine really quick, which is just you. Like you being our number 1 fan, you doing this episode with us at all. Like this isn't a mitzvah that I'm doing for you. You're doing a mitzvah for us. So that's my cop-out answer.
Sweet.
And I will just say too that like I hope this whole podcast is kind of a mitzvah to like celebrate again this art form that we love and the people who make it. And so that's my easy cheesy answer.
That heron's about to.
I got it.
I think my mitzvah was
Oh, it's about to go. It's about to go.
Here it comes.
It's about to go. Go, 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 go. Whoa.
magnificent.
Look at that like slow motion, like getting ready.
Changed his mind. It's gonna stay here.
That was just a yawn and a stretch, maybe.
I did like that about the pilot episode, that I thought it was part nature documentary, part nature audio documentary, part podcast about documentaries.
Oh, that's nice. Well, and look at us now. We're sitting next to this beautiful pond with all the leaves changing colors.
I mean, this is the most autumnal spot in all of Austin, to be
know.
honest with you. Like, Austin doesn't really, the trees don't really change colors.
What? It's like we're in Connecticut for a little tiny frame of this.
We're like a Norman Rockwell painting.
Oh, right.
That's nice.
Sally's Pond.
Sally's Pond. On Sally's Pond. I mean, that's another great episode title, honestly.
Maybe from the 80s.
My mom loved,
I love
loved On Golden Pond.
I don't know if I've ever seen it, shamefully.
It's, you know, we always make fun of me, and I make fun of myself, and Megan and I, it's something we share in common. As small children, I've talked about this before, maybe not on the podcast, I was obsessed with middle-age ennui and like characters going through existential crisis.
Well, we got a lot of that, like Cocoon and Close Encounters. Like
Yeah.
when we were kids, those movies were big.
Yeah. I love those stories of like couples disintegrating before your eyes and trying to figure out what's next. Kramer versus Kramer, irreconcilable differences.
Ordinary people.
Totally.
Oh my
And like On Golden Pond is like the geriatric, version of that. It's like coming to grips with the end of life and a father and a daughter who have never really quite gotten along. And the real life, behind the scenes story with Henry Fonda and Jane Fonda kind of roped into that. I mean, that movie is very powerful. Is that what your pond is like, Sally?
Well, let's finish on you and your movie that is playing at AFS soon. So
One of the things I'm so excited about, see, this is it. Every time I get the microphone, let me tell you about the thing I'm real excited about, folks. That's how I feel like afterwards. I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's a mitzvah to have Sally on, like Ben said, for a lot of reasons, and certainly for her support and friendship of this podcast. But another thing that makes it a mitzvah for me personally is that Sally's film is finally going to be available to the public. The Trouble I See, which is the reason we met all those years ago, 5-6 years ago we met, we're not sure when. And you had been working on the film at that point more than 5 or 6 years. So this is a journey from idea in Richmond, Virginia to lots and lots of ups and downs through the years to finally not only finishing a film, but having something that you're excited and proud of that is going to be up on the big screen here in Austin on January 14th and available digitally all around the globe.
All around the country.
All around this country. Sally's film, The Trouble I See, is a beautiful portrait of families in transition and families like dealing with one of the most complicated subject matters that any family could possibly deal with, and a subject matter that our society still struggles to kind of comprehend and understand. And Sally does it deftly and beautifully. And there are some moments in the cut that I saw many years ago that still stick very deeply with me. But The Trouble I See is a film about two men who are experiencing incarceration and their families experiencing life with a father who is not able to be there in their lives in the way that they intended. And so I'm thrilled that your film is finally getting a chance to be seen by the audience. I will be there on January 14th. I can't wait to see it on the big screen. How do you feel? And what did I get wrong? I'm sure I got stuff right.
yeah, how was that? How was that recap?
It was pretty nice. I did enjoy not having to do the little spiel, the synopsis, because I'm really, really so happy that the film is complete and out in the world. I am so proud of it. It has been one of the greatest privileges of my life, and it is not hyperbole, that is a fact. To know these families, to experience getting to know them, working with them, making this film, it does feel a bit like I was constipated for 10 years. Like, it's a very, very challenging experience.
The subject matter seems tough. I'm sorry to interrupt.
The subject matter, yeah. But also I think I would just like to say that I would also like to normalize the time it takes to make an independent documentary feature. It is very common to take 10 years, even longer. And I know,
Absolutely.
I know that, we're career oriented, and so we may have a goal. I want to make a film every 2 years. It's just not the reality for a lot of independent filmmakers.
Right.
It's just really, really hard for all the reasons that probably your listeners know. But mostly it's funding, and then now we're learning once you may get funding, you may complete the film, you may get lauded by your peers, and yet it still has no place to go. So it feels like an immense privilege that it's screening at AFS Cinema and that we actually have a distributor. So I'm just really, really so happy, and I just want to emphasize, Ben said it's difficult subject matter. It's interesting, part of the thing I'm so proud of and happy about, I suppose, for having the experience of making this film, is it doesn't feel like difficult subject matter anymore. I mean, it's heartbreaking. Like, some of the experiences of the participants is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I text them or call them or visit them, I'm like, you are hilarious, you are warm, you are just, these are just lovely people trying to love each other in the best way they can, trying to survive.
Yeah.
So it's just a sort of, I guess, a very multifaceted story and experience. And I'm trying to get some of the participants to Austin for a Q&A. So that's going to be really great.
Well, I haven't seen the film. I'm excited to. And the thing that I know about you, even though you and I don't know each other that well, is that you have a big, beautiful heart. And every time that we're together, I feel warmer as a result of it. And I see you, like even the way you interacted with your neighbor back there, and then told us that you've been taking him to doctor's appointments and helping out, and your feedback about how we're all responsible for the way the world looks, and you're sort of embodying the idea of like be the change that you want to see, and I really admire that about you. So
Thank you.
I'm excited to see your film, and I hope other people go see your film, and that that it's like a rewarding experience for you in the same way that it has been for the families that are in the film.
Thank you. That's really sweet. I hope it's been rewarding for them to be in the film.
I can't wait to see it. Sally is a shit talker in some of the best possible ways. And it's one of the things that I think we share in common. And I think one of the nice things about shit talkers is they see through kind of bullshit. And when you're a documentary filmmaker and you go into a situation, like getting a chance to kind of suss out who people are and who they're not quickly, and let your lens find like the authentic moments and not be, suckered in to inauthenticity is a value. There's a value to that. And I think that, again, from what I saw when you were workshopping the film, you have that. So you made that film as a co-director with Patrick.
Patrick Gregory is the co-director.
Patrick Gregory. And who else was on your editorial crew? I know there's been a lot of ups and downs. Have there been a lot of different hands in the editor?
Not really, no. And I think that's an interesting part of this story that leads back to my just calling out the challenges of independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
Is that, we really were under-resourced. Like this was made, on the smell of an oily rag, just the tiniest budget. So we had a really awesome editor called Tim Chai, who's a known Texas filmmaker who now I think lives in California. He was wonderful, but then he moved, and it's a very unwieldy project. He was trying to do it part-time, and then we've raised some money and we got to work with Sandra Guardado, and she was just complete. I mean, she has a writing credit. I mean, she just took the film and really shaped it in a way that we really, we would have liked to have almost spent more time in post, but we were able to do it quite quickly because of her skill. I mean, she's so incredibly skilled at storytelling and emotional storytelling.
Sandra Guardado is an unheralded star behind the scenes of a lot of films. As a matter of fact, she was a significant editorial consultant for me on my very first film, Eyes of Me. She was recommended by Paul Steckler. Paul has worked with her many times through the years, and he talked about her in his episode. Sandra is absolutely somebody that we should reach out to and get on the podcast.
Well, is there anything that we haven't talked about? I always want to make sure that we do our guests justice, and that you feel like we. I mean, this has been covered it.
So entertaining, honestly, and pleasant. I don't think I want to talk about. I mean, I do have some other projects.
Yeah, I want to hear about
stages.
Well, what's going on? Can we talk about Ma'am?
Sure.
That project is one that we talked about a couple years ago. I hadn't heard anything about it in the last year. And then on my Instagram feed, I saw on the nonfiction hot list, you recently were talking to them about.
Yes.
So give us the capsule on that.
Ma'am is a feature documentary that I've been developing for a couple of years, and I applied for a few grants and didn't get them and just sort of left it dormant. And one of the grants I applied for was not really a grant, an initiative, the Nonfiction Hot List, which is a really amazing initiative, sort of born from this idea that there's the Hollywood blacklist, is it called, where the scripts that are so good but don't get made. So this is like just to kind of break away the barrier to entry to getting our films made. Oh, cool. So they did this whole initiative where they chose, 40 films to be on their hot list. My film was not chosen, but what they did out of the kindness of their hearts was this other initiative called Fresh Eyes, and basically people who weren't chosen got the opportunity to do a meeting. And it was just, you just don't need much in this industry or this vocation, whatever you want to call it, to get a bit of momentum. So I did a meeting with this awesome woman called Isis Masood, and another woman who actually is Austin-based called Anna Rao.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, she's so fucking cool. So we just did a little meeting and talked about some funding strategies and the project. And I am sorry, I did not explain what the project is about. I have not practiced my log line for it.
Well, we don't want to make you do anything you don't want to do.
Well,
It's a great idea, though.
It's a story about scammers that target women in caring professions. So they look online and they look on things like Psychology Today, and they look for therapists who work with adolescents, and they call impersonating police officers and say, you have a bond out for your arrest because you failed to appear in court. I can't tell you the details because it was a minor, so it's all very credible. It's essentially psychological and emotional manipulation condensed into 6 hours with the goal of getting money. But no one really knows who the scammers are. The women are really sort of interesting, not your typical sort of people you might think could get scammed. And it's it's almost like a Trojan horse to talk about patriarchy more broadly. But anyway, so I'm excited about that. But
Yeah, that sounds really cool. I'd watch that.
would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in.
I keep waiting for this heron to fly away as
Truly.
the end, but I think the fact that we saw it is like
A mitzvah.
bookend enough, and it is our mitzvah, and you, my friends, are a true mitzvah. I love knowing that that you listen to the show and that you get something out of it, and I love that you are our last guest of the year. It seems right.
Oh, that's really special. Well, this has been epic. Like, how long have we?
We've gone a while. It'll be edited down, but we'll also maybe let this one be a little fat for those who care.
That's a chubby.
Yeah. We all do our best here. It's the end of the year. You got to give yourself a little space. Coming up in 2026, what would you like to see, Sally?
What would I like to see
Mhm.
on doc walks or in the world?
In the world of documentary
In
filmmaking.
the world of documentary filmmaking? Oof. Oh, I just touched my mic. That's terrible.
Can I say that's a big question, and it's 11:15.
I have a tendency to do that. All right, fine. I won't do that.
I do like the question, but I feel like I don't even have an answer.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't really know.
It was a nice question, though.
It was very nice, but we should. I'm sorry to do it, but we should wrap
should.
because
Let's
I
just-
have
let's just do it.
to be
Let's-
at the bear at noon.
Me too.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I have a new call also.
Sally,
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much for being on our show.
You guys.
Yes. How did it feel to jump on the other side?
I was surprisingly comfortable.
Oh,
I was a bit unsure because I'm not used to talking. I mean, on being recorded.
Okay.
I liked it. It's great.
Yeah,
I
I thought
recommend it. Anyone who wants to be on this podcast.
Hey,
Thank
there you go.
you.
You heard it here.
Okay, so that was Sally O'Grady. That was the Doc Walks Year in Review. That was 2025. Next time on Doc Walks,
No, don't. do our outro.
2026.
I
That's
gotta
all I'm
get.
saying. 2026.
Sally's got to go.
See you, Sally.
Fine, but you can't do an outro.
No,
with
no.
me.
We're gonna do it over. Oh shoot! I just hit. All right. So Keith, that was Sally O'Grady.
That's our friend Sally O'Grady. That was the Doc Walks first ever year in review.
We have recorded this podcast for a year, Keith Maitland.
That's right. We recorded the pilot just at a year ago
Yeah.
today.
Is that right?
No, I have no idea what day it was, but it sounds nice. I
That does
noticed during that episode that I was calling it a year in review, and you were calling it year end review.
Oh, who is correct?
Me.
Always. I think a year-end review is correct. We've done this for a year. We're reviewing that year.
I think we were reviewing the whole year. It's the year in review.
And we
That we
were
did at the
also
end of the
at the end of the year reviewing.
Yeah, it's the year in, year end review.
So we're both right.
It was a December to remember.
Is what I think.
Sally O'Grady.
Oh, you've been holding that one back. The December to remember. Is that from the Toyota-thon?
Yeah. The year in, year end, December to remember review.
Advertising does work, folks. You've heard it here. All right. Well, thank you to Sally. Thank you to you, Keith.
Thank you to you, listeners, and you too, Ben.
Oh, thank you.
This has been, it's a fun conversation anytime we get a chance to hang out. And it's double fun when you add in Sally and her critique of our patriarchy. And
That's true. And we are going to do our best to correct it in the new year. We hope that you guys listen. We hope that you reach out to us. We would love to hear from you on any of our social channels. And really, Keith, you said it really well just now off camera. We want these to be conversations between working filmmakers, working storytellers, working in nonfiction.
even fiction.
and sometimes even fiction. And we want you guys, the listeners, to be part of that conversation.
That's for sure. And so 2026 is coming up. We are taking a break for the holidays, but we're not going to leave you hanging. We're going to drop into the mix 2 re-releases, 2 of our favorite episodes. What's up next week, releasing on Christmas Day?
Next week, we have the re-release of the Matt Wolf episode. Matt Wolf, the director of Pee-wee as himself.
Matt Wolf as himself, I think is what
Is what we called that one. And I'm excited to re-release that one because we get to re-release it uncompressed. So for those of you who watched the episode the first time it came out, we were using a terrible compression rate. The episode looks not great, and we are going to correct that.
Depends
and
on
re-release
George
it.
Lucas on you with VFX tweaks.
We've AI'd, we've replaced Keith
That's right.
with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
It's about time.
We took Sally's note to heart, and Keith is now a female co-host.
I mean, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is like the American sitcom MVP of all time.
Oh yeah,
Tied with Ted Danson as most important sitcom actor of our...
yes. And I have a very embarrassing Julia Louis-Dreyfus story that I won't tell you now,
It
but
doesn't
I
make
will.
sense to go here.
But I will tell you later. That said, we hope you guys enjoy the re-release of Matt Wolf. We hope you have a happy holiday, however you celebrate it, and we will be back next week with more
Doc Walks?
Doc Walks.
Doc Walks. All right. See you then. Doc Walks is produced, directed, edited by me, Keith Maitland, and him,
Ben Steinbauer.
and co-producer Dayton Thompson. We'll catch you on the trail.
Next time on Doc Walks.
One foot in front of the other.
Stop talking. Follow us at Doc Walks Pod on Instagram, X, and YouTube.